your dating days are those days when you get comfortable with someone. You see someone to be very reliable, someone you can run to for advice, someone you can seek opinion, and of course, you feel his or her opinion works for you from time you guys have been together. So this is your dating time, and of course, I don't know if this video is going to take longer. Say you're working on your relationship from your dating days is actually better than you trying to mend things when you walk into your relationship or you walk into your dating or your marriage properly. Why am I saying this? See, of recent, I was sometime last week, I made a meal for my kids. In my home, of course, we like boiled yam, anything yam, we just love yam. And of course, my kids loves yam, and I just made boiled yam and of course sauce, tomato sauce, and of course some chopped meat and carrot and other things. And of course, I gave my kids. They went to school, and of course, it was like they had a half day in school. They had sports, and they have to come back with their food. They just ate little in the car when I picked them. And of course, when we got home, we yes, when we got home, of course, I did something little for lunch for them, something fresher for lunch. That's what I normally do. And of course, they dropped what they came back with, and I had to send it to the fridge. And of course, on a second thought, I was about making our meals for evening, and my 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 cousin, not my cousin, I think that's my nephew. My nephew actually said, "Oh, he wants to eat the yam," and because yeah, he was hungry, and I just felt okay. Let me use this yam for our evening meals because I don't like to waste food, and of course, I brought it out of the fridge and I was trying to make it feel fresher, feel new, feel like it's something I was doing so that everybody in the house can actually accept it. Even the kids can accept it. I was trying to make it in such a way that they won't even believe it's the yam with sauce they took to school that is turned to this way. So, why am I trying to say this? If you're trying to, it is better when you work on your relationship from your dating days. It is better those things that they're going to be harmful to your relationship. It is better you work on those things from your dating days, from your friendship days. Now I'm going back to the yam thing, which of course inspired me to do this video. So along the line, while I was doing this meal, I added fish, I added catfish, I added meat, I added little oil because the oil I used for the sauce in the morning, which of course they ate, was a vegetable oil. But this evening now, I had to change it because of course they have taken from the sauce. There's really no much sauce in the flax anymore, their flax anymore. So it was more of a yams. They took the sauce and of course the meat and everything. And so I was trying to make this thing a meal now for everyone to accept so that the same kids will still eat this yam and not believe it was what they ate or it was a leftover of what they ate. I'm trying to tell you on what happens when you're trying to work on your relationship or you're trying to make a change you were supposed to do from the onset that you did not do. So I was trying to make this yam fresh to look like and taste like a fresh meal. So I added catfish, I added crayfish, I added fresh pepper, fresh onion. I added if you're Igbo like I am, yes, I'm Igbo today. So I added utazi, which tastes bitter, a little bit bitter. There's this leaf utazi, of course. I added it, and of course I kept on adding things. I added fish again, and along the line I was adding. And of course, I had to call my nephew and I asked my nephew to test the food. And my nephew actually tested the food and he said, maybe I should do little of salt or Maggi. And of course, I decided to do little of salt. And of course, after he left, and I called my niece again to come test the food, and my niece tested the food, and she said, maybe I should just add little of Maggi and all that. So look at what happened. I was trying to make this meal now from what it was to what I want people to believe. Everyone in the family is going to eat that meal as our evening food. Is going to eat that porridge as our evening food. So for me to make believe, for me to make them accept this food and of course eat it and not think of the leftover that was brought back from school or the leftover that was sent to the fridge because I have to wash their food flags and other things. And of course, for people, for everybody to test that food and still accept it, I had to add, see what I spent on just that evening meal was almost I think I spent like a 7,000 naira because fish on its own, I added like 3,000 naira fish. I added crayfish 1,000 naira. We have pinch of these things in the house, but if I count from what I buy in the market or from the market, these portions are what I'm saying. So pepper and other things, I'm not counting Maggi and oil, but what I poured into this meal afresh was what like 7,000 plus. So what am I trying to say here? It is better to actually work on your relationship when you start it. When you're going into the relationship, you're matured enough to go into the relationship. I used to ask people, if you're not matured enough and you don't know what you're doing in a relationship, if you're not building to gain or to get into something, why are you staying with a man for up to 6 months? What are you doing with a man for 6 months? What are you doing with a lady for 6 months? You just keep wasting a whole lot of time. So now I had to spend more to make this meal, this food, this yam become a meal for us in the evening. So, what I'm trying to say here is when you're going into your dating to marriage, start working on your relationship. Start working on those things. The book of Solomon, I think I was going through the book of Solomon while I was just thinking about this meal of a thing. I was just trying to like what really happened. This is what happens in our relationship. The book that Songs of Solomon chapter 2 verse 15 of course, which talks about catch the foxes, those little things that pops up in your dating to marriage, in your dating days, and you ignore them. Those little things you do, and you think if you walk into your marriage, you're going to change. You're not going to change. If your system is used to it, and especially your partner never complained about what you were doing, it will harm your relationship. So, my suggestion here is if you're going into a relationship, start working early in your relationship in order not to spend more because I ended up spending more because I was trying to make believe, I was trying to make something work, I was trying to make this meal becomes like fresh. So when you walk into your relationship without doing those things you're supposed to do, without working on those little foxes, those things you're supposed to correct before you walk into your relationship or you walk into your marriage, if you don't work on those things, you will spend more time. You will spend more time praying. You will spend more time talking to people. You remember, I spent more time pounding, blending, doing all sorts of to make this yam become a meal. So you will end up spending more time, spending more money, and trying to make people believe, trying to talk to more people, and this might harm your relationship. So my little advice here, my little talk on this video is that try to always work on your relationship from your dating days. It is better you work on those things you will not accept, your partner will not accept from your dating days because it is easier to step out if it's not working for you, it's not working for both of you with your partner. It is easier to work on these things, it is easier to accept these things and work on them and accept them before you go into that marriage. If you walk into the marriage with those things, those little foxes that Solomon mentions, those little things that you call little today in your dating days, if you don't work on those things, they will definitely harm your marriage. So a lot of marriages are having issues today, not because those things just started. It is not the quarrel today. It is not the little mistake here and there today. It is what was not worked on. It is what was not accepted from the dating days. It is not the little things that were not, that you never take cognizance of from your dating days, excuse me. Those are the things that are popping up right now. So it is better to actually work well in your dating to marriage, in your dating days before you walk into the marriage. God bless you. And please make me see you in my next one. From here is love. And I remain your Moses on relationship. Remember, you can only have a successful relationship with